In the last class, we tried to understand the concept of the scope of total income or incidence of tax liability. Today, let us understand by solving a problem on how to determine the taxable income of an individual if he is ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, and non-resident. In the hands of ordinary resident, the following incomes are taxable, that is, income received or deemed to be received in India, earned anywhere, and incomes earned or deemed to be accrued in India, received anywhere, and income earned and received outside India is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident. In the hands of not ordinary resident, the incomes received in India, earned anywhere, the incomes which are earned in India, received anywhere, and the incomes earned and received outside India from business or profession set up by India or controlled from India, then it is taxable in the hands of not ordinary resident. And in the hands of a non-resident, either the income received in India, earned anywhere, or the income earned in India, received anywhere is only taxable. So, see the following problem. The following is the income of Ram Prasad for the previous year 1920. Once again, you remember your previous year is 2019-20 and the assessment year is 2020-21. That means the incomes which are earned during the previous year 1920 is taxable or assessed to tax in the assessment year 2020-21. And now the income of Ram Prasad is as follows. Profit from business in Iran received in India rupees 1,05,000. Income from house property in Iran received in India again rupees 500. Income from house property in Pakistan deposited in a bank there. Profit of business established in Pakistan deposited in a bank there rupees 20,000. Out of rupees 20,000, rupees 10,000 brought into India, the business being controlled from India. Next, accrued in India, received in England rupees 2,000, and profit earned from business in Kanpur rupees 6 lakhs. Income from agriculture in England, it is all spent for the education of his children rupees 5,000, and past untaxed profits brought into India during the previous year amounted rupees 10,000. You are asked to determine his taxable income or total income if he is ordinary resident, if he is not ordinary resident, and if he is a non-resident. So, in order to determine his tax liability, that means how much is the taxable income, first we should find out his residential status. Was already discussed in the previous classes how to determine the residential status. So on the basis of residential status, we have to compute his taxable income. So in this problem, asks to determine the residential status if he is ordinary resident, not a resident, and non-resident. So for the determination or computation of taxable income, we have to make the columns as such. In the first column, particulars, and if he is a ordinary resident, what are his total income, which are incomes which the incomes are includable, and if he is a non-resident and not a resident and non-resident. So computation of total income total income of Sri Ram Prasad for the previous year 2019-20. So first income, profit from business in Iran received in India. So for the determination, you remember option A, earned in India received anywhere. Option B, received in India earned anywhere. C, earned and received outside India from a business or profession controlled from India. D, earned and received outside India. And E, past untaxed profits. And F, exempted income. So first, profits from business in Iran received in India. That means received in India, earned anywhere. So such income is taxable in the hands of all the assessees. That is, if is a ordinary resident, it is taxable, not a resident taxable, and non-resident taxable. So profit from business in Iran earned anywhere, received in India. So remember, if any incomes either received in India or earned in India is taxable in the hands of all the assessee, whether is a ordinary resident, not a resident, or non-resident. Next, second one, income from a house property in Iran received in India. Again, received in India, earned anywhere, and taxable to all. See, the first one, profit from business in Iran received in India, it is taxable to all. The amount rupees 1,05,000. So 1,05,000 is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident, and 1,05,000 is taxable in the hands of not a resident, and also in the hands of non-resident. Second, income from house property in Iran received in India rupees 500. Again, it is taxable in the hands of all, because earned anywhere, received in India 500, taxable in the hands of all the assessees. Next, number 3, income from house property in Pakistan deposited in a bank there. Income from house property in Pakistan earned outside India, deposited in bank there. That means received also outside India. Earned and received outside India. Other than this, from a business or profession, if it is controlled from India, then it is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident and not ordinary resident. But it is earned from the income from the house property in Pakistan, so belongs to option C, earned and received, option D, earned and received outside India. Hence it is taxable only in the hands of ordinary resident. It is such incomes are taxable in the hands of ordinary resident only, rupees 1,000. It is not taxable in the hands of not ordinary resident and non-resident. So where it was first received, that must be considered. After the first receipt, if it is remitted to India, it is not considered as received. For example, rupees 50,000 earned outside India from a business. Out of rupees 50,000, 30,000 remitted to India. Then 30,000 is not taken as received in India, where it was first received outside India. Hence, it is not earned and received, both are outside India. If it is given as a term received in India, then only we have to consider. Next one, profit of business established in Pakistan, deposit in bank there, rupees 20,000. Profit of business established in Pakistan, deposit in bank there, rupees 20,000. If this much is given in problem, then again it belongs to option D, earned and received outside India. Though it is from business, but there is no mention about whether it is controlled from India or not. If specifically given in the problem, the business being controlled from India, then we have to consider in the hands of not ordinary resident also. See here, profit of business established in Pakistan, deposit in a bank there rupees 20,000. If this much is given, it is taxable only in the hands of ordinary resident because it is not controlled from India. Option C says that any income earned outside India and received outside India from a business or profession which is controlled from India is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident and not ordinary resident. So in this case, rupees 10,000 brought into India, business being controlled from India. 10,000 brought into India, not received in India. Entire profit of rupees 20,000 received outside India, that is in Pakistan. Out of 20,000, 10,000 brought into India later. After the receipt in Pakistan, it was brought into India later. So here, income earned and received outside India from a business which is controlled from India. If it's so, then it's taxable in the hands of ordinary resident and also in the hands of not ordinary resident. It is not taxable in the hands of non-resident. Next we see accrued in India, received in England. Accrued in India, received in India. Accrued in India means earned in India or else right to earn in India. Accrued in India, received anywhere. Received in England. Any income accrued or arose in India or deemed to be accrued in India, received anywhere, is taxable in the hands of all residential status. Accrued in India, received in England. That means earned in India. If any income is earned in India or received in India, it is taxable in the hands of all ordinary resident, not all resident and non-resident. And hence, rupees 2,000 is taxable in the hands of not a resident and also non-resident. Next though, profit earned from business in Kanpur. So profit earned from business in Kanpur rupees 6 lakhs. Earned in India, received anywhere. That means earned in India, received in India or outside India. The profit from business in Kanpur means the business profit earned in India. If any income earned in India, that is taxable in the hands of all the person, all the resident status. Again, this 6 lakhs is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident, not ordinary resident and non-resident. Income from agriculture in England, it is all spent for the education of his children, rupees 5,000. Earned and received outside India. So this is taxable only in the hands of ordinary resident. If any income earned and received outside India from a business being controlled from India is taxable in the hands of not a resident also. But it is from agriculture. Whether it is exempt or not, exempt or taxable, it is taxable because the income from agriculture in England. In order to claim the exemption in respect of agriculture income, agricultural land must be situated in India and must be used for agricultural purposes. So, income from agriculture in England. If any income from agriculture is derived in India, then it is exempt. If it is derived from outside India, then it is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident only. It is not taxable in the hands of not ordinary resident, not taxable, and non-resident. It is not taxable because the income earned and received outside India is taxable only in the hands of ordinary resident. Next, one more item is there. There is past untaxed profit brought into India during the previous year. So, if such incomes are given in the problem, then it is treated as not taxable in the hands of all the residential status because this profit belongs to the earlier previous years. So, in this way, we have to make a statement. Profit from business in Iran received in India. That means earned, received in India, earned anywhere, taxable to all. Income from house property in Iran received in India again, earned outside India received in India or received in India earned anywhere. Income from house property in Pakistan deposited in a bank there, earned and received from both outside India, that is taxable only in the hands of ordinary resident. Profit of business established in Pakistan, deposited in a bank there rupees 20,000, of which 10,000 brought into India during the previous year, and the business being controlled from India. So 20,000 is taxable in the hands of ordinary resident and not ordinary resident because it is derived from the business and the business being controlled from India. Suppose if in the problem, out of 20,000, 10,000 received in India, then 20,000 taxable because it is a business income derived from the business being controlled from India, and taxable in the hands of non-resident, and rupees 10,000 taxable in the hands of non-resident because received in India rupees 10,000. Out of rupees 20,000 profit, rupees 10,000 received in India. If any income received in India, that is taxable to all. So in this case, not received, brought in India. So brought into India or remitted to India is not taken as received in India. Accrued in India, received in England, again earned in India, received anywhere, taxable to all. Profit earned from business in Kanpur, Kanpur situated in India, hence it is taxable to all because earned and received both are in India. Income from agriculture in England, that is taxable only in the hands of ordinary resident because it is not derived from the business. And past untaxed profit brought into India in the previous year, that is not taxable. In some cases, dividend from Indian company is given as dividend from an Indian company, that is exempt. Suppose dividend from an Indian company rupees 10,000, then exempt. Dividend from an Indian company is exempt from tax. Dividend from Indian company here, right? Exempt, exempt, exempt. So totally, ordinary resident, ₹7,33,500 total income. So if Ram Prasad is a ordinary resident during the previous year 2019-20, he has to pay tax on rupees 7,33,500, or his total income is rupees 7,33,500. And if he is a not ordinary resident, then the taxable income of Ram Prasad is rupees 7,27,500, and if he is a non-resident, then taxable income is rupees 7,07,500. So on the basis of resident status, the income increases or decreases. If he is a ordinary resident, all incomes are liable to tax except some exempted incomes. If he is a non-resident, if he is a not a resident, then he has to pay tax on little bit lower income, and non-resident still the income is less than the ordinary resident and not ordinary resident. So in this way we have to compute the total income, that is scope of total income or incidence of tax liability. That total how much is the taxable income if is ordinary resident, not resident and non-residents.